What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Human Robot, and they're out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and this is their Tin Hoagie. So they're calling this one an American light lager that comes in at 4% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review, and this can is just under 2 months old. I'm gonna give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a former beer tuber, Joe of the now defunct NEPA Beer Reviews, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to him. He gave me a mixed 4-pack of Human Robot stuff back in, late September at 2022 Beer Tuber Palooza. I've already reviewed a couple of them, and I have 2 more, and I wanted to give this one a go. So I'm not a huge American light lager fan, but I have enjoyed a couple different craft versions. So this one is brewed with US-grown Pilsner, malt, and non-GMO corn, and then for the hops they're using Hallertau Mittlefruh hops. So yeah, anyway, I'm kind of interested to see how this is. It's supposed to be in the the realm of a Coors, Bud, or Miller Lite, but it's a craft version, and yeah, I think Joe said that like as far he doesn't like the style, in general, but he said as far as the style goes, like he's all right with this. Like it actually has a little bit of flavor, and he enjoyed it to some degree. So anyway, let's give it a pour here. So this is gonna be like your golden straw color, 4%. Supposed to be American light lager. I'm pouring it into this can glass because why not? As far as the style goes, should probably be in a glass like this. But yeah, anyway, and I just like the simplistic kind of logo too. It just says Tin Hoagie. I do have, no, I want to have one from last time that I didn't take upstairs, and I probably should have, but that spewed everywhere when I cracked it open. But yeah, that looks beautiful. As far as like a American light lager goes, yeah, crystal clear, very light golden straw color. You can see through it perfectly. Decent carbonation, but it's not that crazy. Has about a 2-finger of a bright white, kind of soap sudsy looking head, and plays the role of something they're calling American light lager. Let's get a nose. Yeah, so it has that corny tinge. But it has a little bit more of a hop aroma. It's a little bit, is that like lemon, like a zesty lemon? It's definitely grainy and corny from the malts being used and the corn itself. But then it has this nice, like, zippy kind of lemon character. Not over the top, definitely noticeable. A little bit of a sulfur note. Yeah, so it's grainy, corny, with a little bit of like a lemon. Honestly, this kind of smells very akin to like a cream ale, like Genesee cream ale to me. But yeah, it's a craft version. It doesn't smell bad. It actually smells pretty good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Thanks again, Joe. Is that American light lager? You bet it is. This is solid for what it is. That lingering like corny kind of feel, like a tortilla chip, it's how you kind of can tell you're drinking American light lager for the most part, unless it's like Bud. Mine, this one's like higher side of light body. It's not super watery, which is cool. The mouthfeel is crisp. It's clean. It's very refreshing. Like it's like, it's just going down like water. The taste, this might be the most simplistic beer I've ever had on my channel. Especially from a craft version or from a craft brewery. This basically has a omnipresent, grainy, corny kind of feel. There is not much bitterness. There's a very mild bitterness here. There's a nice, like, kind of semi to full on dry kind of feeling on the back of the palate. But yeah, it's grainy, it's corny, maybe a touch of that lemon, like a lemon zest, but very minute. Like I'm actually searching for it because I got it in the nose. But the finish is like a tortilla chip, kind of corny kind of finish. And it's semi to full on dry with a very mild bitterness. So this I think the drinkability, because sometimes I feel like American light lagers in general can get, I don't want to say too sweet, but like I think this has a little bit more dryness than the style usually provides. It's super easy to drink. Like they probably nailed what they're going for. This is an American light lager with a little bit more flavor. You know what this beer is to me? This beer is the perfect, absolutely perfect gateway beer or transitional beer. If somebody comes to a craft brewery or a craft beer bar and is like, man, I only like, I only want to drink Coors, or I want a Coors Light, or I want a Miller High Life or a Miller Light, or name any American Light Lager into like an adjunct lager, right? I think they could drink this and not be overwhelmed. It's different enough from an American Light Lager that you're like, oh, you notice things, but I don't think it would be too over the top for a non-craft beer drinker to be like, nah, I don't want that. I think you'd take this and go, oh, it's a little bit different, but it's all right. So I think it's a good gateway. A gateway beer for a non-craft beer drinker. For me, though, I'm not a huge fan of the style, but I'll give them marks. I'll give them 2 marks for this one. Let's go take a sip one more time. Again, the alcohol in here is 4%. You don't feel it or anything. You don't anticipate doing so. I think it's really easy to drink. It's super refreshing. I can see drinking a 4-pack of this, watching the game or whatever, and it's not a big deal. It's like you drank a couple, regular craft beers. Has enough flavor to keep me interested, but it's also not too heavy or too weighing on the palate to kind of, bog down your palate when you're trying to just session something. So I am going to give Tin Hoagie American Light Lager from Human Robot. Stylistically, what do I give this? I give this like a low 4.75, 4.7. Like, this is probably one of the best American Light Lagers I've ever had. Why? Because it actually has a decent flavor. There's no off flavors. Has a little bit more of a slight dry / bitter component. Makes me a little bit more interested in drinking it. So I like that from a style standpoint. Personally, because I'm not a huge fan of style, I'm still going to give it a generous score for me personally. So I'm going to give this just a straight 3.75 out of 5. I think that's the best I can do on this. But again, stylistically, this is a pretty fucking good American Light Lager. I think it's a more authentic American Light Lager. What more? There's not much more I want from this, honestly. Yeah. So price point availability. Here's what will go sideways for a lot of people, and I get it. But keep in mind, and I haven't mentioned this in prior reviews, but Human Robot is in Philadelphia. It's more expensive when you go to a huge city. If you go to New York City or Philadelphia or Boston or whatever, right? You're going to pay a little bit more for the beer, so you expect the price to be a little bit high. That said, this is $12 a 4-pack from the brewery. Okay, you're talking $3 a can. When you can go out and get like a Coors Light, 30-pack for probably $15 or $16 or something, it's tough to look at this and be like, I'm going to pay $3 for a 16-ounce can. But keep in mind that A, you're supporting a local small brewery. It's in a bigger city. And it's better than those, at least for me. You might love Coors Light and you come here and you're just like, fuck that. Why am I gonna pay 50 cents a can for a Coors Light? Why would I pay $3 for a 16-ounce can of that? True. I can't argue that. But I think the price point, why a bit high because they're in Philadelphia, it's not terrible. If this was in Buffalo or not a big city, you're talking probably $8 to $10 for a 4-pack, right? And that's still a little bit pricey compared to your bigger macro offerings, but at the same time, I think it's worth it. And availability, I'm pretty sure they're brewery only or in and around Philly. So if you don't live in Philly, you probably can't get your hands on them. But huge thanks to Joe for this one. I'm not somebody who would grab a craft American Light Lager off the shelf and review it just because, again, it's not a style I like. But I appreciate this one for what it is. So huge thanks to Joe for this beer. If you've had this beer before, post in the comment section. And if you haven't had this beer and you watch to the end, post in the comment section what your favorite American Light Lager, whether it's a macro light lager, or if it's a craft one. Do you have a local craft brewery maybe producing a light lager that you really love that has a reasonable price point and it's always in your fridge? Please post in the comment section. I've had discussions recently with some fellow beer tubers and viewers of the channel. I review beer on here for the interaction and for other people watching my reviews, but also telling me what your favorite stuff is. So when I say this at the end, this is not a spiel. This is not me being like, I gotta say this at the end of every review. It's me wanting to know what you really think about beers. You know what I think about a beer like this and the style itself, so let me hear from you. So please post in the comment section if you watch to the end. Anyway, appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.